It's time to talk about the American Dream, one of the most commonly taught topics in all of United States English classes is an American Lit course that at some point, some people take the whole year, but at some point focus on the American Dream. And if I'm guessing, you've either been in this situation and struggled, or you're entering this situation and overwhelmed with where to start. So it comes as no surprise that my recommendation is starting with an essential question. And that essential question that we're going to focus on today is this: is the American Dream more likely to inspire or destroy us? The question is key for a lot of reasons. First of all, the American Dream is huge, almost overwhelming. And when we get into this position of feeling overwhelmed by a topic, it can be really hard as teachers to kind of shut down part of those like dark rabbit holes that we go down and we get distracted. It can be hard for students because they lose focus. They're not sure where to spend their time and their energy. And so an essential question like this is going to do a lot of things for us. It's going to narrow the playing field. It's going to also open up our conversations to a wide variety of texts. But we don't need to feel overwhelmed by the whole American Dream, just this component. What is it going to do to us in the long run? Is this something that's going to continue to inspire and excite the imagination of the American people? Or is it leading us to some type of path that is destructive and in the long term, really not good for us, and something that we should be paying attention to, especially our high school students, as they're moving into the real world themselves? So that is the goal of this essential question. Some people have asked me, Amanda, shouldn't essential questions be more open-ended? You're giving them an either or. What's the point of that when, we want to explore all of the options? Well, I have two answers to that I think are really important, especially for this essential question. What is the American Dream? Let's take that. That's an open-ended question. The problem with this question is that, number one, I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think kids really care, right? Kids are not bought into that question. They have no stake in that question. What is it? It's a definition. It's an evolving definition, sure. But there's not a lot of intrigue or interest in solving the problem presented by that question. In fact, there's not really a problem at all. And the open-endedness is kind of like what we were talking about earlier, can actually lead to muddiness and confusion. I want to present the question again, and I want to think about how this question actually is open-ended in all of the ways that we want to celebrate open-ended questions. So think about this again. Is the American Dream more likely to inspire or destroy us? The in-between is wide open, right? We've set parameters, right? We've set a scale here. There's inspire on one side and destroy on the other. And I don't think any of us educators are hoping to get black and white answers here from students. We don't want our students to arrive at one or the other. Our goal with an either or type of question is to coach them through defining the middle ground and to find where on this continuum the answer really stands. And so to that end, I do think that this is an open-ended question, but what we've provided students is a scaffold that helps them focus and argue something specific without just kind of being left out on their own. If this was a graduate course or if this was some other kind of coursework, sure, maybe we don't need those parameters. But if you're using this essential question with grades 7 through 12, I think that that's one of the things that really works well. And if you adjust the two words, inspire or destroy, you can change those out as well. That's just what's worked really well for me in the past. So I encourage you during this unit to work really hard with each piece of text that you examine to really find different places on the continuum and find the conditions that set up the story or set up the example for where it belongs on that line. Here's another consideration with this American Dream question. Some people have asked me too, what's the value in teaching the American Dream? Isn't this something that's kind of like over with? It's something that is kind of, we don't need it. We don't use it. The answer is for critique. And if we're going to have a conversation about American identity and what it means to be American, the American dream is part of that, whether we like it or not. The reasons that people move here, the reasons people stay here, the reasons people take pride in their nation, the American dream is part of that. And part of our job as educators and our students' job as students is to learn how to enter into critical conversations around the world that they actually exist in. And this question allows us to do that. And also, in my experience, it sidesteps any directly negative criticism about America. We know that that can be a very hot and difficult issue to rein in. And in this case, we're able to focus on the dream, which really is more worth the conversation, I think, because, who America is in the moment, it matters, but not just as much as it means what we're going to do with our nation moving forward. How and where do we want to be? What should the dream, the imagination of who we are as a people, what should that be so that we work toward what we want to see from each other, from our nation, from our people? That's what the goal of this conversation is to give a safe, comfortable place to talk about the future and to talk about where we're headed, how we're part of that future. And that's what this essential question is going to do for students. My last and final piece of advice when using "Is the American Dream more likely to inspire or destroy?" is to take your time defining other vocabulary words on that spectrum, on the continuum. What does inspire look like in different connotations? Can we have, what else belongs on that line? Same with destroy. Maybe it's another color of that word. So take time to, actually dig into possible vocabulary that can be used in addition to inspire and destroy. And that will help students kind of find those definitions along the line. This works really with any essential question that does either or and sets up that kind of binary. We want to help them with language in the middle, because if students don't have the language to define that middle area, they're going to struggle to define that middle area. So give them the language, let them wrestle with actual words that you even yourself see yourself using when you answer this question. I hope that no matter whether you are doing a lit circle discussion, you are reading a whole class novel, you're reading a classic or a contemporary, I hope that this question really helps guide you through critical conversations and exploring a wide variety of conversations around the American dream and the American experience. And I can't wait to hear how it goes.